All right, it's the 16th of May. It's a Friday. We have just under 30 minutes to the NY Open. We'll go to the charts in a second. Okay. Just a second. Yeah. All right, let's go to the calendar. Okay, so we don't have news for the first 2 hours of the NY Open, but we got news after that at the London at the 4-hour candle close. We have some news. It's not important, right? This news event is not important. All it's going to do, it's going to bring volume. It's going to drive volume. Uh, it's going to bring a little volume into the current direction of price at that time, right? And if the current direction of price at the time of the news is bearish, then it's going to bring a little bit more volume into that move to continue to push down. If the current direction of volume at the time of news is bullish, then it's going to bring a little bit of volume to push price further up, right? That's all it's going to do. This is not an important news event. Next 2 weeks also, we've got no news at all. We have no news next week except for unemployment claims, and then no news the week after that also, right? So the next 2 weeks are going to be quiet. This is CPI week. We've not seen a lot of volume yet in during this week, during the first 2 hours of the NY session. It's still been more focused on the Asian and London session volume. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at let's go, okay, this is Friday, so what we're going to do is we're going to try to predict the weekly candle close and the daily candle, and with that, the daily candle close, right? So let's go up a time frame, look at the weekly. Okay, so the weekly is bearish, very likely going to close bearish, right? We've rejected this about 3 weeks ago, we rejected 3,500, and then again last week we rejected price came back, rejected 3,430. Those are two liquidity grabs. This is a liquidity grab from 3,500 and 3,430. Is there a round number there? Yeah, 3,500, 3,450, and 3,430. This is a liquidity grab from those three levels. This is a liquidity grab from 3,430 to push price down, right? So the weekly candle is coming down. We're very likely, not this week, but probably next week or the week after, we're going to come down. There's clean space to the left. We're going to come all the way down to these areas, right? We'll talk about that move next week because that's not going to happen today. Now, the weekly candle is very likely going to close bearish. Again, in trading, there are no certainties, but we're going to make a prediction based off price action that we already have, right? Based off the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, and the lower time frames in 30-minute. Now, the weekly is very likely going to close bearish. The question is it going to close with a small wick to fill next week or a larger wick, right? Now, if it's a small wick, then price could close around 3150. We're going to have to take a look at the daily and see what's at 3150. What's at 3150. So we could close below, we could close at 3150 or just below 3167, right? So that is scenario number one. Let's look at the daily. So for that to happen, obviously the daily candle will continue to close bearish, and 3167 is here, so it could close below 3167 or below 3150, leaving a very small wick, a wick for next week, right? Leaving a very small wick for the next week weekly candle to fill. All right, just about a 200 pip wick. That's one scenario. So the candle will continue bearish. So what could possibly happen is there could be a pullback, a liquidity grab, and then continue down and price closes under 3167, around 3150, or even under 3150, right? So we could close anywhere inside this wick, right? Either under 3167 or under 3150, in anywhere inside this, right, range, right? So there is about a easier 200 pip, 250 pip move down, easy 250 pip move down left. Okay, now we're still on scenario one. Yesterday's daily candle, just like we predicted, I said it would be over 1,000 pips. It closed at 1,200 pips, right? Almost 1,200 pips, so 1197, right? Now, no top wick. That's important to note. No top wick. One second. Yeah, no top wick, right? So when there is no top wick, price can either continue to push up or can go the other direction. That's exactly what's happened. We've grabbed liquidity from 3250 and we're pushing down, right? So scenario number one, again, daily candle will continue to close bearish. There might be a pullback there. If it needs to close bearish, there will definitely need to be a pullback to a liquidity level, to any one of these liquidity levels, and continue down to close below 3167 or even 3150. So we can expect about a 250 pip move down, right? Now, if the daily candle is going to retrace this entire move that started in the London session yesterday, then we could have another daily candle that closes at around 1,200 pips. So then that means we could close even further down, closer towards 3135, right? That is still scenario number one. Let's go back upper time frame again. For scenario two, we could have a larger wick, right, for the next week's weekly candle to fill. So the weekly candle, this week's candle, the current candle, could close with a larger weekly wick. And a larger weekly wick means closing around 3194 or even just under 3,200, around 3194 or just under 3,200 or 3194 or at 3194, right? Which means on the daily, price would need to push back up. It'll still close a bearish candle, but we would need to push back up to close in this area. For that to happen, on the lower time frame, price would need to push down, grab liquidity, and then towards the end of the New York trading session, towards London close, push back up to close around 3194 or 3200. That is the second scenario, right? So again, on the second scenario, what you would want to see, or what you would be expecting to see, is price to push down, grab liquidity at one of these liquidity areas, form 30-minute support, 30-minute tradable bull candle will close, and price will start to move back up. That will happen towards the end of the trading of the New York trading day. So around London close, right? Around London close. Now, I've shared two scenarios very clearly: what can happen on the weekly, the daily, and what to watch for in case those happen on the low time frame, what to look for so that you can be a part of that move, right? When we come back on Monday, we're going to do a recap or to see how the weekly candle closed, right? Which of the two predictions played out. Let's go to our trading chart. Right, so before we start, let's do a quick recap of a trade idea that I did share and that I did take yesterday. Let's go to 30-minute. Yeah, start with the 30-minute. So I said wait for the 4-hour candle to close. Don't do anything until the 4-hour candle closes. So this was I think the 4-hour candle closed here. Yeah, that's just 1 second. 17. Yeah, 17. So 1630. Yeah, so this was the close of the 4-hour candle, right? And it left a wick here to be filled. All right, this is where the candle closed, right? This is the new 4-hour candle open. It left a wick, right? Now we were anticipating about maybe a 100 pip wick, but it left about a 70, about a 100, 115, even up to 120. That's why I gave out a sell idea. I did take a sell here. Did not work out for me because IC markets didn't close my trade. It was supposed to, I think, close around 3188 or something. It came there, but didn't trigger my entry because of probably the spreads, right? Spreads just increased really high there. It's supposed to be around 0.5, 0.6, but I think it went to about 1.5, and my partial TPs didn't get triggered. Now, I said that was the minimum, I think 3188. If you watch the last 10 minutes of yesterday's stream, it's very clear on the sell trade that we took and the buy trade idea that I gave for later on. Price started to push up, right? So I closed my trade. I think when price is 50 minute, yeah, when price pushed up past this M15 high, I think I entered somewhere here. I took about maybe a 25 pip stop. I had about a 25, I think about 25 pip loss I took on that trade, and that was good because I managed risk really well. I started off with the stop loss being there, but when the bull candle closed and price broke this high, I closed everything. Now, then I said, wait for the four. I said, I'm giving out one idea, and that's a buy idea, right? And I said, wait for the 4-hour candle to close, right? So once the 4-hour candle closed, this was the open of the new 4-hour candle. We had and price pushed straight up, right? Once it pushed up, if you look at the 1-hour time frame, we have new demand form here. We have a rally, base rally. And the reason we look at the 1-hour time here, at the 1-hour time frame here, is because this is a weekly SR level here, right? This one right here, 3194, is a weekly SR level, right? So we look at the lower time frame. So if you look at the 1-hour time frame, there is demand there. But I drew it like this on the 30-minute time frame, all right, because there is a 15-minute base there, rally, and these three candles are base, and that's the rally, base, rally, and the push up, right? So that's the base, right? It's visible on the 30-minute and the 1-hour as well. And then on the 5-minute time frame, there is a liquidity candle now, right? Just at that base is this 5-minute liquidity candle, right? So all I did was, once the 30-minute candle closed, I went down to the 15-minute time frame, and I drew the fib. So this low broke this one broke this low. I drew the fib, and then I waited for price to get to these areas. They did not come, but I did take an entry at the psychological round number 3,200, because sometimes price reacts. That's also, you got to remember, there are liquidity levels, right? So price will maybe not come to a supply zone, a 5-minute or a 1-minute or lower time frame supply zone, which is what these lines are based off of, right? These are based off of 5-minute demand, right? These green numbers here. So price didn't come to them, but it came to a liquidity level, right? To a weekly SR level. That's why these are very important. Price came to a liquidity level, reacted, and I had partial TPs here at 3212 and then at 3218. They hit beautifully. Price pushed up from there. That was the entry. That was 120 pips, and then further up 180 pips, right? And then I got out there, called it a day, and then price just continued to go through. Went to that liquidity level, went through that to the next one, okay? And then it's dropped. So let's get rid of all of these. Okay, we've come here. Perfect. Okay. I hope sound is good, uh, and the stream quality is also good. I changed a bit of things, a few things on the stream, the bit rate, the latency. I hope that has sorted it out. I don't know what was the cause of the stream's not, I couldn't stream yesterday. I don't know what the technical issue was. I still couldn't figure that out, but I changed a few things, and I'm hoping that has solved the problem. I really don't know if it solved the problem or not. So, but hopefully it's good. Okay, thanks, Philip. All right, so let's get to work. Okay, 4 hour time frame. This 4 hour candle still has a couple of hours to close, so we got to ignore that and move down, at least on the 4 hour time frame. Okay, let's start here. We have a rally and a drop here, a rally and a drop, so there has to be a base there. Let's start by marking that rally and the drop. Okay, and yes, there is a base there, right? Also, the reason we're looking on the low time frame is because price has come off a psychological round number there, right? So there is a base there. That would be the rally. Then this would be part of the base. No wick, just a candle with no wick on either end. And this is also the base, and then the drop. Okay. Um, yeah. Okay. Let's look at the 30-minute as well. Yeah, I think 30-minute is better. There. All of that are part of a base. This would be the rally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 base in candles, and then the drop. That's better. So this would be 2, 2, 3, 4, 6, 3. Okay. Now we have a drop, a base, and another candle that's dropped. Again, we have to look at it on the 1 hour time frame. There is a drop there. There's a big drop there of about a 350 pip drop, but we have to look at it on the lower time frame because it's crossed a weekly SR level. And yes, there's a drop, a base, and a drop here. That's on the one hour, it's very obvious. Let's take a look at that on the 30-minute as well. Yeah, even better. Okay, so this open is 577 and the high is 129. So there is 4 hour supply here, 4 hour supply here, because they're both visible on the 4 hour time frame, even though the base is on the 1 hour, in the 30 minutes, right? Now, prices again crossed a psychological round number and a weekly SR level. So let's take a look at it on the lower time frame. There is nothing. It's a clean drop here on the 30-minute. There is nothing, and that's it. I don't want to go any lower than that, right? So there's nothing. There's just clean space to the left in case price comes back up. Clean space to the left, and it can come back to 3194 and 3200. Okay, right. So that's all for supply. Let's extend these zones to the right. This high is 5223. 5223. Okay. And there is a liquidity candle here. Yeah, let's just extend this as well. $57.83. Okay, that's better, right? We'll take a look at these liquidity candles later on. That's 4 hour supply. That's whatever's left of it. This is a high liquidity zone, but this one isn't, right? Okay. Let's take a look at demand. So we have a zone here. We're going to extend that to the right. That's a liquidity candle, and that's the zone. The liquidity candle engulfs the entire zone. Oops. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that's good. Right, that's good. Okay, we're coming down. We've tapped the liquidity candle. So pre-NY is a lot of volume in pre-NY. Wow. This is actually, in fact, before pre-NY. There must be some news. Let's just take a quick look at news. What's happening on the news front? Something to do with Iran. I'm not sure if that's the cause of the move, but there's a lot of volume coming in. We could continue to push back up. We're going to watch for the two scenarios. Do not forget the two scenarios that I shared at the beginning of the weekly candle close, right? Do not forget that. That's very important. Very, very, very important. We're going to come back to that. Because there might be a trade. The reason I say that is there might be a trade later on. Just like it's been over the last 3 weeks, there might not be a trade during the streams. There might be a trade towards closer to after 10:30 a.m. after the 4-hour candle closes, and around 10:30, 11 a.m. or even after 11:30 a.m. EST, right? There could be possible trade to push back up because there's a big push down. We've already pushed down 925 pips. Yeah, we could have a pushback up. We could probably get to about 1,100 pips and then push back up from a liquidity level. Anyway, yeah, we've gone past the liquidity candle. So, there is nothing to do. Don't worry. There's literally nothing to do, right? You cannot sell because the move, if you look at the 30-minute time frame, here's where resistance was formed, and here's where price is right now. Price is almost 600 pips away, 500 and yeah, 550, 560 pips away already from resistance. So there's nothing to do, period, in terms of sells. Okay, you just have to wait. So we've not missed anything. This is not a pre-NY or NY session move. This resistance was formed way before the pre-NY session, right? On IC market server time, 12:30 p.m. server time. So that's IC market server time 1400 is the pre-NY session. All right, let's continue with our analysis here. So we've got 1-hour demand here. That price is coming to right now. Perfect. Okay, and there is a liquidity candle here. Now, you got to remember the origin of this move started during the London session yesterday. This wick here, or this low here, is a reaction to this, right? This is the source, that's the reaction, right? So this is a rally, base rally, perfect candle. This is the reaction. Price could come down here, react to the 4-hour zone, right? It's visible in terms of a zone. It's not visible on the 4-hour, but you have a drop and a rally, so there is demand there. But on the 1-hour, you have the base here, right? That's the base. So drop, base, rally. And again, a rally, base, rally. Okay? So price could come there, which is maybe what, another 200 pips? Yeah, 184 pips. And then create support and start to push back up. Okay? We got to be ready for that. If that means price could push back all the way up to 3194, just like we discussed, right? And create a larger weekly wick. So that's a second scenario where we have a bigger weekly wick to fill next week rather than a smaller wick, right? Okay, 1-hour demand. That's a high liquidity zone. What's happening? For demand, that's a high liquidity zone. And that's what's left of that liquidity candle to the left that I showed, right? On the 4 hours, there's a liquidity candle here. It's a liquidity candle here based off on the 30 minute, I think. Yeah, it was a 15-minute liquidity candle. That's all that's left of it. This low is 1686. Yeah, that's all that's left of it. This was a 15-minute liquidity candle, right? Price came deep, tapped, pushed 1,270 pips up, right? We're coming back there again now. Okay. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this liquidity candle. Price has gone through it. Doesn't make sense to have it there. Okay, now we have two new supply zones. We don't have any new demand zones. These zones are from earlier this week, right? From yesterday, and then this zone here is from probably about a couple of weeks or 2-3 weeks back, probably even more. Just give me a second. All right, so let's take a look at these zones and see if they're high liquidity zones. Obviously they are. There's a big drop down. There's demand here, a rally-based rally. There's a rally-based rally here. So this move has taken out all of that. So this is a high liquidity zone. This one too is a high liquidity zone. There's a rally-based rally here. We've taken out that low with this wick here, making this also a high liquidity zone. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So that's it. Now, we're going to take a look at this area and look for a high liquidity candle, right? Now, this might not be used today, but we're going to do that anyway, probably for next week, okay? Because this is the process that I follow. Whenever I identify a new zone, I look at that zone, check if it's a high liquidity zone, and see if there's a high liquidity candle in it, right? That's the process that I follow. Okay, so on the 1-hour time frame, I'm looking for the largest bearish candle here. That's 184 pips. There is this 295. Let's start with this. This is also a liquidity grab, right? from a weekly SR level. Okay, let's go to the 30-minute. This one, 145, 146 pips. Yeah, this one here on the 30. Let's go to the 15-minute. $109. Yeah, this one, perfect. Oh, oh. Okay, we're gonna have to do the numbers on this. 60. 1073. 1097. It's this one. Let's take a look at the 5-minute time frame. How big is this zone? 250. 255 pips. Go to the 30. Yeah, 30. That's it. 30. This is what I look for. This is what confirms that I've got the liquidity candle right. When I see something like this, price push down, if that wasn't the liquidity candle, then this doesn't need to happen. Price push back in, tap the liquidity candle, right? Look at this high here, 292. This is 294. Perfect tap, and then it came down, right? Okay. So NY session has opened. There's nothing to do. Price has moved too far away from when it created resistance, right? There's really absolutely nothing to do, right? If we're taking a sell, we want resistance to be created. I want resistance to form inside pre-NY. Pre-NY and inside pre-NY, right? Starting from pre-NY, which is 1400 hours IC market server time. So there is no 30-minute resistance. So which means for me to take sells, price needs to pull back, create 30-minute resistance, and then I can take a sell. So that's going to take time. Right, let's go further. Let's look up here, right? We have a new zone here. a rally, base, and a drop. And on the 30-minute also, yeah, it's a rally and a base and a drop. Let's take a look at this on the 1-hour time frame. This is the largest candle. That is a good candle. Let's go to the 30-minute. It's 105 pips. It's 96. 91. 5. 91. Yeah, let's take a look at the 5-minute time frame. 91. 92. Yeah. Interesting. This is 106. Yeah, I think keep it on the 30-minute time frame of that one. 703662. 15-minute. 744. Yeah, that's better. All right, done. Then here we have this liquidity candle from previous. This candle right here, prices come into it. This high is 4703, so 4703. Yeah, perfect. Extend this one as well. Okay, done. Those are the liquidity candles. There's no liquidity candle here. Price has gone through it. The next liquidity candle is down here. Let's take a look at this 1-hour demand zone just once more. Since price is very close to it, we want to make sure we've got it right. It's a rally, that's a base rally, that's correct. On the 30-minute, yeah, that's perfect. Let's look at the liquidity candle. It's this one on the 1-hour. It's 336 pip candle. Yeah, 30-minute. Yeah, that's the candle. Perfect. 15-minute candle. That's the one. 140. 23. Yeah, that's the move up. 239 pips. Yeah, that's the move. That's the candle right there. So price is likely to come to 3150 or the liquidity candle, right? To grab liquidity before it starts to push up again. Okay. So just a second. Okay. All right, let's take a look at what price has done in the Asian and London sessions. Go to on the 15-minute time frame. See where the market opened. Yeah, there. That's the market open. The market opened at 32.39. Yeah, tap off liquidity candle in the London session. Doesn't need to come back up. Anyway, 451, 129. 652. 60. Okay, let's take a closer look at what price has done. Now, we were very bullish yesterday, right? Starting off from the London session, all throughout pre-NY, NY, NYSE Open, and London close, we were bullish. All of the sessions, we were very bullish, right? Price pushed up, what, 1,200 plus pips. Then we tapped 3250 and the liquidity candle, formed 30-minute resistance, rejected that area, pushed down, on the way down created a liquidity candle, right? That was the market open. Is it? No, this is the market. Where's the market open? Here, this is the market open, right? So we were bullish when the market opened. We tapped 3250, create 30-minute resistance. We tapped the liquidity candle, pushed back down. On the way down, created a liquidity candle, pushed further down, came back up to grab liquidity from the liquidity candle, created the Asian high, pushed straight through 3230 and further down. On the way down, created one more liquidity candle, then pushed back up. We created the Asian low and pushed back up to 3230, created 30-minute resistance right there, and then pushed back down to the Asian low, closed below it, closed at it, then closed below it, came, tapped 3,200, formed 30-minute support. Yeah, support there, it more range than creating support, 50-minute support in fact, right? I would ignore that support. Price came back, tapped the Asian low, right? We closed below, came back to retest the Asian low and tapped the liquidity candle and then dropped really hard. We formed 30-minute resistance there, clear resistance. And once it tapped the Asian low, the liquidity candle and the EMAs, we dropped really hard, real hard, a 560 pip drop, straight down to 3167, right? So on the way up to do that, it created the London low, right? Now we are trading well below the London low. So we should continue lower. To continue lower, the issue is I'm not too keen on taking a sell trade because price has already moved 550 pips. I'm not keen on taking a sell trade here unless 15-minute resistance form, because um, prices price is 360 pips away from the EMAs, and the EMAs have crossed. So if 15-minute resistance forms, the 15-minute resistance is already formed. Yeah, it's already formed. This one took out, this got this high, and this one took out this high. Yeah, I would wait for the candle to close. 15-minute resistance already formed. We don't need to wait for 30-minute resistance, even though it's better but you don't need to because price is far away. Whenever price is this far away, when it's beyond 250, 275, beyond 300 pips away, or even, anything above that, you can uh, bet on 15-minute resistance, right? You don't need to wait for 30 minutes, but it's always better to wait for 30 minutes. It's safer. But if you want to take a trade, you can wait for 50-minute resistance and a tradable 50-minute back candle to close. So that's exactly what's happened in pre-NY. We have 50-minute resistance form, a tradable 50-minute back candle has closed, and now price has broken the second high. This one broke this high, this candle broke this high, right? So you got to wait for this candle to close so that we can draw the fib and then maybe take a trade. That's why the stop losses, we'll have to manage risk around here, 50, 60 pips. Take a trade to come here about 169 pips and further down 260 pips. It's possible. Let's wait for the candle to close. Got 12, 11 and a half minutes more. Wait for the candle to close. Let's see how this candle is going to close. No top wick. No top wick. Can come further. Yeah. And that is a rejection, 106. Yeah, we can come further up. It's best to wait. Let's wait for I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to wait for the 15-minute candle to close and then I will decide what I'm going to do, right? One of two things that I'm going to do. Depending if the candle closes below this area, we close below support here. It closes bullish but below support. It closes bullish but below support. I might draw the fib and look to take a trade from around 3167 or just above that to push down to 3150. Or I might just wait for price to come back, create 15-minute resistance again, and a tradable 15-minute back candle to close to take a trade, the NY open trade, right? One of those two scenarios. One of those two. Yeah. I think the second one. If the candle closes bullish, if the 30-minute candle closes bullish, I think I'll very likely wait for the second scenario. Wait for another 15-minute resistance to form and a tradable 15-minute back candle to close, and then draw the fib and then look for a trade to come down. Okay, that's the plan. There's time. We have 9.5 minutes for the candle to close, plenty of time. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes, 3-4 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes more for the 30-minute candle to close. Let's wait. I gotta wait. Yeah, we're coming up here. No top wick. No top wick. 50 pips more. Zero 0.5. Yeah. Yeah, it could. Yeah. No bottom wick. I'm I'm very much interested in this area. This London push up. This was the origin of the move that took price up 1,200 pips to 1,250 pips. This one right here. So specifically this 3135 and this liquidity candle right here. All right, this liquidity candle. This liquidity candle is the one that caused this move up here, 1,250 pips. I'm very interested in that area. Candles like this are like a magnet. It draws price to it, right? That's the origin of the move that pushed price up. And if we have volume, we could be coming back there. And when we come there, we could get a reaction. That is, to me, that would be my trade for the day. That's the trade that I would want to take. Buys from down here, right? So price still has about 200 pips, 150 to 200 pips more. So which means we're going to cross 1,000. We're going to cross 1,000. We're already almost at 1,000 pips, 980, 979 pips. So we're going to go to about 1,100, 1,200 again, and then that's when I would look, wait for 30 minutes support to form. I would look. So again, let me explain this again very clearly on the daily time frame, right? Now, yeah, this is support, daily support has formed, right? Drop and a rally, drop and a rally. And if you look at the 4-hour time frame, there is a drop and a rally here. Also, even if you ignore this, this is a key level. This is daily resistance, daily supply zone, ignored on the way up, right? Price came back to it and then respected it, right? We respected the daily resistance, 3135, and we pushed up. Now, that area is important. That is the decision area, right? So price created resistance here, daily supply pushed down, came back, ignored that decision level, went straight up. We came here, and in the London session yesterday, we just spent what, 30 minutes there, an hour there, 30 minutes, right? When I've always said this, when price, how to know a level, a high time frame decision level will work is when price spends less time and starts to create candle structure, right? So we create 30-minute support immediately when we came there, tradable 30-minute bull candle close. That's a sign that price is pushing up. It's not going to stay there, right? That's the kind of thing I'm looking for again. Price to come back here, immediately create 30-minute support and a tradable 30-minute bull candle close to take the trade up. That would be my trade for today, the trade for the New York session today. That would be the trade. If we get sells here, if you look for sells and we get sells here, just like yesterday, remember sells are going to be short-lived, right? It could be short-lived because for two reasons. We've not seen a lot of volume in the NY session, first 2 hours of NY session. And the second reason is we have moved very far away right? After we create 30-minute resistance, we've moved over 560 pips away. So the move's already happened. If you didn't catch it here, then you're catching the tail end of it here. So for those two reasons alone, I would use very conservative TP levels on any cells, and the trade that I would look for is a counter trend trade to go up on a Friday. So that and I would look for the lower time frame confirmation, before I assume anything, but so that the second scenario plays out. We made two predictions of how the weekly candle will close. The second one was with a larger weekly candle wick, right? To close with a larger wick. So I would be interested if that plays out, because that would give me a clean trade up, clean space to the left. There's nothing here. You can push straight up and close a bearish weekly candle, but with a bigger wick. Any questions on anything that we've discussed? 30-minute candle has closed bullish. Yeah, I'm not interested in taking any sells right now. Close bullish. To take sells, I want to see. I gave out two possible setups. The second one, I want to see 15-minute back candle close with a tradable 15-minute resistance form with a tradable 15-minute back candle close to take sells, because 30-minute candle has closed bullish and is rejecting 3167. So I want to see a 15-minute resistance form and a tradable 15-minute back candle close to take sells to come down. Until that happens, I'm not doing anything. 30-minute support has formed from a liquidity level. If you go to the 50-minute time frame, interesting. Yeah, but this is too far away. No, no, no. This candle broke this low, but none of these candles broke. Did this one break its low? What is this low? 7082, 7087. No, it didn't. Yeah, so no buys either, because even though 30-minute support formed at a liquidity level, two M15 lows haven't been taken out. This one took out this low, but these candles all respected their previous lows. This respected this low. This is 7082. This is 7087. This is 7005. This is 7082, and this is 6910. 7005. Yeah, they respected all of that. So no buys. No buys. Yeah. Sells, I don't mind taking sells, but I want to see 15-minute resistance form and a tradable 15-minute back candle to close, because 30-minute candle has closed bullish, has closed against the sell. So I want to see at least a 15-minute candle confirmation that sells would work to come back to this low and further down to 3150. Always visualize what you want to see printed on the chart, and if that prints out exactly the way you see it in your head, then take a trade. There's no guarantee that the trade is going to work. That's going to be a win, but at least you waited, and there's been a thought process, a very logical thought process of why you want to see that happen, right? In this case, we are at a liquidity level. There's a bull candle, 30-minute bull candle closed against the sells, has gone up, has closed bullish above the liquidity level, from a liquidity level. Makes no sense to take sells. Got to wait for at least a 15-minute resistance candle for 15-minute resistance to form, and a tradable 15-minute back candle to close to take the sells to come down. Why sells? Because the high time frames are pushing down, right? The weekly is pushing down, the daily is pushing down, the 4i is pushing down, and the 1i is pushing down, right? For those reasons, only the 30-minute is pushing up. So we just want to see 30-minute resistance is better, but that may not happen. But 30-minute resistance is always better. Like I always say it, always better to wait for 30-minute resistance to form. But because price is far away from the EMAs, we might not get a 30-minute resistance. You might just get a 15-minute resistance, and then price might drop. Any questions on anything that I've discussed so far, on anything that we've discussed this week? Feel free to drop a message in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer. Yeah, still pushing up to that 5-minute candle that has no top wick. There we go. We're coming there. Few pips more. Five, 6 pips more. There we go. Came up. No top wick. Came and tapped it. Right. That is why. That's another reason why I was reluctant to take sells. Right. Whenever there is no top wick like this, I don't. Yeah. We are coming down. This is a sign that we're coming down. 15-minute candle, no bottom wick. We are coming down. You just have to wait. Be patient and wait for something more familiar, right? Something that makes sense. So to me, I want to see resistance form and a tradable back candle to close. That makes sense. Will it work or not? I don't know. I have no idea if it's going to work or not. All we can do is wait for something that we've seen before, that has worked before, to happen, and then manage risk once we get into a trade. Right? That's it. That's all that you can do. There is, no matter, even if it has happened before, there is always a probability that it might not work out. So you take a trade, and then if it doesn't work out, then that's the probability of the trade not working, of that setup not working. That's all it is. A 5-minute candle. We should close bullish here. And the next one could even push higher. Could push back all the way up here. Interesting. There is a zone here. This candle has crossed. Yeah. But that's okay. That's okay. There are enough. I don't need to draw another liquidity candle maybe, because there is 3194, 3200 EMAs. Don't need another one. There's a liquidity candle here. Yeah. Since we've got nothing to do right now, let's just. There's a drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basin candles and this big massive drop here. And the reason I'm looking on 30-minute is because this candle crossed 3,200, right? So there is a zone there, even on the 1 hour. Drop, base, drop. This candle went across this 3,200. So there is definitely a zone there. Yeah, let's mark it. 1532, 175. Okay. As high as 1532. Okay. And now in this, that's 1 hour supply, clear 1 hour supply. It's in fact very obvious. So drop, base, drop. And yeah, 129, 37, 132, 107, 116, 80, 89. Let's look at the 5-minute. $181. Yeah. This candle right here. It's 61,693. So we've gone past this, still waiting. 50-minute candle close bullish as expected. We'll wait. The next 15-minute candle is also the close of the 30-minute candle. Interesting. So let's see. Let's wait. Let's see how this 50-minute candle is going to close. Is the 30-minute candle going to close a doji, a bullish doji for price to continue higher? If it closes a bullish doji, that means price is continuing higher, right? So even if you got to be very careful here. If we said 15-minute resistance form and a 15-minute tradable back candle to close, right? Which means we're waiting for this 15-minute candle to close, okay? But the close of this 15-minute candle is also the close of the 30-minute candle. And if the 30-minute candle closes bullish, yet again, this is closed bullish, this one closes bullish, then we could continue higher, even though we have 15-minute resistance, right? So you got to be very careful and see where the candle closes. Very important. There is lower time frame resistance here, 3174. So the 30-minute candle needs to close below 3174 to close bearish. That's when you know that that's a better confirmation for sells. If a candle closes below 3174. Yeah, 3174. What does 3174 look like on the towards the left? Yeah, perfect. Support. Look left. Yeah, 3174 tap, close below, close back above. Yeah, perfect. This is 3174. That's a key area. Resistance, close below, closed above, stayed above. 3174. So that's now when you wait, things get clearer. When you just patiently wait for things to happen, right? When you have an idea and then when you wait. Now we're trading above 3174. As you saw towards the left, whenever we stayed above 3174, we pushed up, right? We stayed above, we pushed up. We closed at, stayed above, we pushed up. We tested it, stayed above, we pushed up. Whenever we closed below, we pushed down, right? So 3174 now is the area. That's the area that you want to see the 30-minute candle or the 15-minute candle close below that. Right? That will also be the close of the 1 hour candle. This 15-minute candle will also be the close of the 30-minute candle and the 1 hour candle. So if the 1 hour candle closes below, we could continue to push down. Because we've broken the high, come down 11 minutes more, it could close below, and the next one retraces and then comes down. Yeah, that's possible. We'll wait and see. Wait 11 minutes more. We've got to wait for the candle to close. Any questions on anything that I've discussed so far? Let me know in the chat if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer. You want to see um, a big 5 minute back handle close below 3174. That's the that's almost a signal. I don't like using the word signal, but that's the sign. When you have a um, big 5 minute back handle close below um, 3174, an important level like this. This is not a key level, but it's an important level because price either stayed above it or stayed below it. So for the current, for the NY Open, for the first 2 hours of the NY Open, this is an important level, right? Because that's where price is right now. So you want to see a 5 minute candle close below it, right? Towards the end of the 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour candle, because all of them are closing at the same time. That is kind of a tell. It's like a tell that once you close below, we could have a pullback and then continue down, further down. Either way, I would be until I've been saying this the last couple of weeks. Whatever trade I take, whatever trade you take in NY session, be very conservative with your TPs because we've seen that there has been very little volume um, during the first 2-3 hours of the NY Open. So buys or sells, just be very conservative. Partial close at 40-50 pips. Your first partial close at 40-50 pips, and then the rest partial closes can be at the TP levels. So if you take sells, close first partial close 40-50 pips, just like you did yesterday, um, just like we did yesterday. My broker didn't close the trade, but that it should have um, 40-50 pips for the first TP level, and then you can hold maybe 40% up to the next TP levels, right? We should be heading to 3150 and then 3140, 3150, 3140. Still nothing. There is no sign of a back candle closing. 5 minutes more for the candle to close, for the 30-minute candle to close. Absolutely no sign of it closing a bearish candle below 3174. Still nothing. We're still staying above it. Could close. I said this. If it closes a doji, bullish doji, then we're heading higher. We're pushing up. We could come down, grab liquidity, and push higher. Which also means, yeah, there is no low taken out. Price would need to take buys, like I said. We need another low to be taken out, and there is nothing. All these candles have respected their previous lows. This is the only candle that has broken this low, and all of these candles have respected their previous lows, right? And that is the start of the pre-NY session. 1400 hours IC markets over time. So we can't take buys either, and there is no confirmation for sells. Okay, what's happening? 5-minute candle trying to push down. Let's see if you can close below. Strong back candle close. 2.5 minutes for the candle to close. If the candle closes bearish, then since we've respected this high, this would be the most recent high. I mean, this would be the highest high, and this would be the most recent low. So that's how you draw the fib. This one broke this high, this broke this high. 217.036. 82.17. It needs to close bearish. 1.5 minutes more. Doesn't seem like it's going to close bearish. Is it going to close a strong bearish 15-minute candle, tradable 15-minute back candle, or not, or doji? A minute more. I don't think so. I think it's going to close a doji. Yeah, 30 minutes is also closing a doji. Yeah. If it closes a doji, there are no sells, okay? Because it's not a tradable 15-minute back candle. I said two things. I said a 15-minute resistance needs to form, and a tradable 50-minute back candle needs to close. So let's see where this candle is going to close. We still have 30 seconds. Nothing yet. Yeah, it's closing a doji. Yeah, we closed the doji, so nothing. Nothing. 30-minute candle closed bullish. Get rid of this. There is nothing. We've broken the high already. We're pushing higher. See, this is what I said. If the 30-minute candle closes bullish, we're going higher. We already, in the first minute, we broke the high. We're pushing up. Now, because we broke in the first minute, the 15-minute candle can close bearish, right? So we're going to wait for that. Yeah, if the 15-minute candle, it's 9 a.m. EST. If the 15-minute, we broke in the first minute we broke above the high, 30-minute high. That's a good sign. If the 15-minute candle closes bearish, because we've already have 15-minute resistance has formed, if the 15-minute candle closes a tradable bearish candle close, then I'll look to take sells. I want to see that big 5-minute back candle close below 3174 or at 3174, either at 3174 or below it. A 5-minute back candle close. Again, today's a Friday. There is no compulsion to take a trade. You don't have to force a trade today. If you haven't been profitable, if you're in negative this week, today is not the day to make up for those losses. I always say that Friday is not a day to make up for losses. Don't try to revenge trade, because what you're doing, if you're trying to make up losses on a Friday, you're very clearly revenge trading, right? Friday is not for those days. Your bulk of your trading, you should be looking at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or even Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? Not on a Friday. You can trade. Obviously, it's a trading day. It's a very much a trading day, but you should not try to be making up losses, the week's losses on a Friday. That's you could end up with a bigger loss. That happens, in fact, more often than not. If you try to make up the entire week's losses on a Friday, let's say you've had a losing week so far, for whatever reason, Friday, a day like today, or any Friday for that matter, um, is not a day to make up for those losses, except for NFP, because if there's volume in NFP and if you know what you're doing. And if you wait at a liquidity level during NFP, that happens just once a month. On that Friday, it's possible to make big gains if you know what you're doing and if you're patient. But other than that, Fridays are not for making up for losses. Still pushing up. There is nothing. 30-minute candle closed bullish above 3174. We spoke about this key area. Uh, I wouldn't say key area, but this important area several times. If closed above it or closed at it, then we continued higher. If we closed below it, then we continued lower, right? And that's exactly what happened. Price closed below it, we continued lower, and now we came back, closed at it. This candle closed at 3174. This one right here. This 15-minute candle closed exactly at 3174. So now we're staying above it. So what needs to happen? Price needs to close back below. Very straightforward. Price needs to close back below it or at it. A back candle needs to close either at it or below it for us to push down. Price to continue down. Very straightforward. Price is heading towards the liquidity levels. 3194, liquidity candle, 3200, 2 EMAs, 4 areas here, 4 liquidity levels here. Not too far away from price. Okay, I'll be back. We have about 10 minutes, over 10 minutes for the 50-minute candle to close. I'll be back in a few minutes. Doesn't seem like we're going to get a trade today. Doesn't seem like during the stream hours we're going to get a trade. This has been the case. I'm not surprised by it. But I will, let's look at, in about 10 minutes, let's look at the charts and see what trade ideas we might have for the rest of the New York session, right? So basically, after the after the current 4-hour candle closes, the current 4-hour candle is closing in an hour, under an hour, 54 minutes. Yeah, sells should be the idea. First sells, then buys. But we'll discuss that in detail in about 10 minutes from now. I'll be back in about 3-4 minutes. The 50-minute candle has another 9 minutes to close. 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes more for the candle to close. Pushing back down. Mm. 15-minute tradable, 15-minute back candle needs to close. Maybe not. Still another one, just only 1.5 minute, 1 minute 30 seconds. So may not close bearish. Needs a big push down here. Another 30 pip push down, 20 pip push down. Looks like we're coming down. Looks like we're coming down. Let's see. Yeah, it's closing bullish. A minute more. Nothing yet. Okay, flipping bearish. Candle is flipping bearish. 578697 needs to close bearish, not bullish. It's closing bullish. Okay, closing bearish, close bearish, perfect, perfect. Can take sells 694, 578. Okay, yeah, you can look to take sells. $80.09. Yeah, I'd like to take sells up here. Yeah, sells. I've placed a pending order here. Taking a sell here as well. At 31.77, I took a sell and placed an order here as well. 31.77. Yeah, should come. Wow, it's a drop. 31.68. I would have loved to price came higher, but I took an entry there, 31.77. 31.69, we should come to 31.69 or 31.68. It's about 70, 80, about 80 pips. 31.69, we should come to 31.69. I'd like to take a few more entries if you push up. It dropped too quickly. $11 more for the candle to close. 1 hour candle should close. Yeah, could be coming down. Yeah, I might take an entry again at 3174. 3174. There's the pending there. That's another 50 pips if we come to 3169. Mm. 3169 should get to 3169. Could pull back further up and then come to 3169. It's possible. Now, how are we going to manage risk on this? Let's see. 3179. 3179. 3179. Price can push up further though before it turns, if it turns. But 3179, yeah, 3179. Support, stayed above, close below, stayed below. This is a market, yeah, this is the market open, yeah, stayed above. Yeah, 3179. Yeah, yeah, 3179. That's where I'm going to manage risk. Anticipating price to come to 3169, right? So that is about 50, 60 pips, 70 pips. And then next would be 3167 and then 3163. Those are the trades. I've taken the trades. Here's where you want to manage risk. 3179. 15-minute candle stayed below it. You saw it on the left as well. Price stayed below. If price breaks above it, you close partial positions. If a 15-minute candle closes above it, you close everything. Okay? Straightforward. I think we're going to push back up. Come back here. Yeah, we're going to come to 3180 before heading down. So just be mindful of your risk. All right, if price comes up here, be mindful of your risk. Don't over risk here because price could come up here. There is a 1 minute supply zone here, drop base drop for price to push down. That's always a better entry if you get it, even further up here. So let's see how the 15-minute candle closes. Ideally, it should close. We want to see, like I said, we want to see it close below 3174, right? That's the ideal situation because that's where whenever prices closed below, stayed close below at 3174 or closed below it or closed at it. If a back candle is closed at it or below it, it's always prices push down. So that would be the better scenario. If we close at it or below it, then we could come to our first TP level, 3169. Yeah, but price can always push back up. We're staying below 3179. You want to see 15-minute candles stay below it. You don't want to see a 15-minute candle close above it. That means we're pushing straight. We're pushing further up into this wick. And once we get up there, we could break the wick and head higher, right? Because that's the next 3194 is the next level, the next liquidity level. Yeah, it's getting to the end of the stream. I'll be here for maybe 5 minutes more. It's a Friday, 5-6 minutes more. We're pushing up. Now, if you've taken entries down here, manage risk at 3179. Okay, manage risk 3179. You can close something, 20%, 30%, close something. If the 15-minute candle closes above 3179, then you close everything. Or again, you can close partial positions. You don't have to close everything. Again, you can close maybe another 30% or another 40%. So you have very little risk when if price goes deeper in, right? Your risk is managed. Two minutes more. I think we're going to close above and then push further up, I think, because the 15-minute candle doesn't seem like it's going to close below. It's just a 1 minute more, unless price drops 40 pips. Unlikely. So prices seems like it's pushing up. Yeah, 20 seconds more. We are pushing, we're closing, what are we closing? Doji, we're going to close below, hard to say. If you close at 3174, great. Bearish candle close 3174. But if you close above it, we should close at it. If you close at it, no, we closed just above it. But still a bearish candle close, which is a good sign. It's okay. It's nothing. It's still a doji. The candle has closed doji. That's a doji. That's a doji. All three candles are dojis. 5-minute candles, no information at all. Nothing. Therefore, the 15-minute candle also has closed a weak bearish candle. That's that's the candle that I went off of, right? That candle is a tradable 15-minute bear candle close. That's not a doji because that is big wick at the top and literally no wick at the bottom. Let's see. It seems like we're coming down to 3169. You need that big 5-minute candle close. As I said, I've been saying 5-minute bear candle close below 3174 for price to push down. Still nothing. All these 5-minute candles are dojis. We could still push up because this candle closed above. If this candle closed below, strong bearish, then we create a top wick and price comes and breaks the low and continues down. But we've closed above 3174. So we can still push back up to 3183, 3182, 3183. We could push back up. If this current 5-minute candle closes a strong bullish candle, then we're pushing back up to 3183. Seems like it. 65. Yeah, can push back, pushing back up. There we go. Pushing up. I've given these price levels, manage risk. Okay, don't just, I hold some of my trades because I take very low risk. It all depends on what your account size is, and what you're willing to lose. Pushing up. 3183 tapped. Yeah, 3183 tapped. Five-minute candle close strong, bullish. Yeah, we're pushing up. I'm going to manage risk. I'm going to start closing my positions. Mm. $380. Yeah, yeah. Manage risk. Pushing up. Still have a couple of positions open. Let's see. It's closing, rejecting. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, coming back down. Mm-hmm. 75. Let's see. coming down. We respected that high. This high is 578. This high is 576. Yeah, we respected the high. Coming down. Zone 5. This is 50 pips. There's news in we could be pushing further up. Could be pushing further up. Yeah. Yeah. Closing everything. That's it. Calling it a day. That's it. That's it. Gave the cells 2 chances. That's it. Didn't work. We're pushing further up. And we've got news in 15. What is it? Yeah, just over 15 minutes, we got news. Yeah, just wait. Price. Okay, so that's the end of the stream. Here's the idea, right? For cells, now 30-minute candle closed, in fact, the doji. We formed resistance but closed the doji. We went off the 15-minute candle, we formed a 50-minute resistance, 15-minute tradable back candle close, took the trade, didn't work out, price is still pushing bullish. It pushed above the high. This was the area to manage risk, so I hope you manage risk, right? Now, if you're looking to take a trade later on in the next, wait for the 4-hour candle to close, right? The candle is going to close in 16 minutes. Wait for the candle to close, right? Wait for 30-minute resistance to form and a 30-minute tradable back candle to close from a liquidity level to take the sells to come down. That's the idea. Just one idea, right? Just one idea. Sells. Because price is below the EMAs, price did not come. I would have given a buy idea if he came down here, but we didn't come here. We didn't come to the extreme, we didn't come to the origin of the move. If you came to the origin of the move, I would have given a buy idea. No buy ideas. Only sell idea. Wait for the 4-hour candle to close. Wait for 30-minute resistance to form, for a 30-minute tradable back candle to close, to take the sells to come down. Right? That's it. Okay. Get rid of all of that. Okay. That's it. Don't do anything right now. Price is in the middle of the zone, in between supply and demand, in between two liquidity levels. The liquidity level here, 3167, and there is a liquidity level up here. So just wait. 15-minute candle has closed bullish. We're pushing up. We're trying to push back up here. Okay, so just wait. Don't do anything. Okay, so that'll be the end of the streams. Uh, if you don't want to, if you're not keen on taking a trade, don't take a trade. It's a Friday, right? But I've given the idea to watch the chart and see if the idea plays out, right? And it's a very clear idea. There are no buys. It's not a buy idea. It's a sell idea. Wait for price to come to a liquidity level, 30-minute resistance to form, tradable 30-minute back candle to close. If it comes to a liquidity candle, safer stop loss would be above the liquidity candle high. A more aggressive stop loss would be above the 30-minute candle high that created resistance. And your TP levels, and you can draw the fib and wait for the pullback and take the trade. Your TP levels will be around here, 31, 31.75, 31.67, and then further down 31.50, right? Let me get rid of this, tell you where the 31.75, 31.67, 31.75, 31.67, 31.50. Those are TP levels, right? If you get a sell, that's it. Okay. I'll come back in about maybe 30 minutes and watch and see after the 4 candle closes. Maybe I'll come back in about 30 minutes after that and see what price is. Price is heading higher. It's heading higher, right? We closed the bullish candle. We're heading higher. We've also we could be forming. Hmm, yeah, you're getting a drop, a base, and a rally here. The price to push up. Okay, just get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. Let me draw that zone before I leave in the stream. A drop base rally, maybe here. This is better. Yeah, drop base rally. Okay, so the open is 173,430. Okay, that's the zone. That's a new 30-minute demand zone. Why 30-minute? Because we've crossed a weekly SR level, right? That's the reason. And in that, yeah, there is no liquidity candle really. Maybe this one right here. That's the candle. 113 pips. Yeah, this one right here. That's a liquidity candle. This 5-minute, this 15-minute candle right here. All right. Okay. See you Monday 7:30 a.m. EST. Don't overtrade. Don't over risk. Price is pushing up. Right. Don't overtrade. Don't over risk. The trade to look for sells to come down from a liquidity level. See you Monday 7:30 a.m. EST. Take care. Have a great weekend.